I only wish that people will not use this situation to better their own lot at the expense of this displaced Nigerians. But having said that much, it is a right. If they have registered, they should vote. INEC owe a duty to ensure that they participate in the election. Now the modalities, it shouldn't be formulated by me, it shouldn't be formulated by you. They have a duty, and this duty is a duty paramount, and they have to carry it out. You see, the INEC chairman said something, he said yes, they must vote. And I agree with him, and I believe that he's a man of his word.
Because the Nigerians,
they should vote, because if they don't vote, then what happens to their vote? What happens to they are not just 5-10 persons.
No, exactly.
They are
over 900,000
people.
Yeah.
And you know, when you look at it so well, the question should not be where will they vote?
exactly.
How will their votes be appropriated? How will they be able to? Apparently, they are suffering some setback now, whether you like it or not. Because there's no doubt about it that they are not benefiting from the campaigns. They are not being talked to, except maybe perhaps people that are in government are talking to them. How much of the enlightenment are they
aware of?
So all of this we needed to see. It's not really even about their voting. Their everyday affairs must be known to all of us. There should be enough publicity. We should know what is going on. How they are faring. How are they being carried along? How are they going to vote? How are they going to, so that at the end of the day, it will be, look, you are in charge of us. You determine what happens to us. There should be an opportunity, even a level playing ground for all political parties to campaign, to talk to them, to have their agents, to have everything done perfectly. But having said that much, you mentioned a point, and I think we shouldn't lose sight of that. Security.
Yes.
It is most paramount. That's more reason why some of us wouldn't mind even if all that you have to do is to mobilize the military apparatus that we have in Nigeria to that side. Because apparently there is relative peace in every other part of Nigeria. But to that side, you should mobilize enough to ensure that at the end of the day, they are able to vote under a very peaceful atmosphere. But basically, disenfranchising them will be a great minus to common exercise.
Because
so
the number is huge.
They should participate. It's their civic right. It's their constitutional right, and they shouldn't be. And you see, when you remember that some of them who apparently few months back were underage must have come of age now. What effort has INEC put into it to ensure that
they actually registered?
You know, I don't like deriding people, but let's say this. INEC, to the best of their ability, they say, oh, we are doing quite well. But to some of us, look, if people in the ache of the Sultan of Sokoto is yet to get his it speaks volume of the entire thing. So how much is it? It's because the man is talking because I mean it's a man of influence. Before I got I knew fully well that it's because I resolved that look, I must participate in this election. Ordinarily, people may be disenchanted. Look, we are tired. People are suffering day in, day out in order to collect this. You see, I think we should have institutions put in place whereby subsequent elections we don't have to be unduly punished because we want to perform our civic right. Why must you keep me in the sun just because I want to collect a PVC? It shouldn't be. Must I suffer for it? And this idea of having to put people together at all costs, what is your name, shouting, running after one clerical officer just because no, it shouldn't be.
Also, we had 4 years to prepare for
exactly.
It shouldn't be. Where we are today, I think basically we should be thinking about electronic voting now. We shouldn't be thinking about all this. Because to see my face before I vote, it's unnecessary. So I think this is unfortunate that we are where we are. And despite the fact that we have the resources, quality, money, whatever, even human resources, we have everything that can make this country the best in the entire world.
Well, you're already enumerating the challenges that has to do with our electioneering processes in Nigeria. But then I will still ask this question. How will you rate our electioneering process in Nigeria? I think that has to cut across the campaign, the primaries, the registrations and all that. You know, it encompasses a lot of things.
Well, if you look at it very well, what we have and what we are is apparently the best that we have for now. You can't, when you have
So sorry, let me cut you in there. Do you think so? Because you just said it that we have all it takes to make all of this work.
No, you see, the system hasn't really worked well. It hasn't really worked well. Apparently, people say we are growing, and I wonder when we will stop growing, when we will grow, when we become adults. If for so many years we are still growing, then it speaks volume of the fact that we have not built institutions. You see, a situation whereby somebody is in a political party, and before you know it, he has said a lot of things that are unprintable. Before you can say who is there, the man has crossed to the other party and he has started singing a different song. And you imagine at the end of the day, this kind of persons will still without appealing to the conscience of the people because they know how to get to the people. Having improvised greater majority of Nigeria, having left greater majority of Nigeria below the literacy value, the literacy level, they know fully well that look, our policies don't even matter to you. What we are saying don't even matter to you. At the day of the election, we know how to get
our votes.
These are part of the problems that we have in this country. You see, for as long as you have 70%, if not more, of Nigerians that are still illiterate, then definitely we will continue to have this kind of problem. Because look at it, the campaigns, mudslinging, name calling, outright falsehood, people concocting stories that never happened anywhere, and at the end of the day, you find out that people are still running after this same set of persons. It can't happen in this manner in better climes. Talking about the United States of America.
Yes, so let me question at this point. Now, would you say Nigerians are getting matured? Because when you compare what happened in Osun and then Ekiti states, you're likely to see people now know what they want, and they go extra mile to make sure their vote counts, and this is exactly what we want. I understand that it. Would it be right to say then that Nigerians are getting more matured, or what do you say, or democracy is getting better?
Well, on a note of caution, I won't conclude that way. Right. I would rather say that we are making do with the best that we were presented with. You can imagine you want to vote, and you see legion of military men, barrage of military men round about you, supervising how you vote. Nobody to know whether you will talk or you.
Nobody will tell you to behave yourself.
Nobody will tell you to behave yourself. That's the truth. These are things. You see, some of us see all of these as intimidation, blackmail. We don't need certain things. Let people be just able to vote and go back home. You don't have to hoodwink anybody. Why must, for God's sake, the people be given bags of omo, rice, and so many other things? You see, it's no longer news that money exchange hands. It's no longer news that a lot of the electorate were actually mobilized by money. So what are we talking about? Can we continue to live in this kind of a situation? Somebody who apparently, at the end of the day, if he are giving you a bag of rice, you may not even see him in the next 4 years. What advantage has that conferred on the polity? None. So basically, where we are today, to be fair with myself, we have not grown a bit. In fact, we have lost our values. In those days, you see, some of us can reconnect with nostalgia. What happened in the Second Republic? People will tell you, look, to hell with your money. It happened. Yes, as much as I won't applaud the crisis, the violence that characterized some of the elections. But basically, that was when we still had what was going on well for us. We had value. We had a tradition. We knew where we were coming from, especially without having to divide the other parts of the country. We know the Yorubas will tell you, no, I'm not going to support you. The father did this some times ago. You were once a 419 person. You were once a cheat. Then we are not going to vote for you, and they will stand by it. But I tell you today, nobody cares. Most people don't care again. Bring the money, they vote for you. So it's about highest bidder. So have we really grown? We are backward.
So where did we get it wrong? What happened? Why did we lose our conscience?
Because yes, I also remember, at least I was still quite young, but I remember that in those days during election, it's like a carnival. It's all about celebration. Everybody is happy. But now there's so much apprehension, there's so much fear around our elections now.
Talking about where we got it wrong, if we must delve into into that, they won't leave this place today. Because there is a concerted effort, there is a high-wired conspiracy by those who have led us in this country,
To do what?
quote unquote, to keep Nigeria where we are. It's like I said earlier, what is one man, one vote to a man who has not eaten? The man has been kept below poverty level. And you come to him and you say, oh, this is a good man, let us vote for him. No wonder people like Ganifa Reni, even while he was alive, he lost the election. He lost woefully because he couldn't have done what some people were doing. So if we have all this kind of a thing there, then definitely what matters during our election, people call it infrastructure, whatever we call it, but at the end of the day, it won't translate to development. And it will keep it, you see, you imagine, you see most of the people that are in secondary school today, by the time they are coming out, you ask them what they want to become. Most people don't want to become lawyers, they don't want to become doctors.
Politicians.
They want to become PA. They want to become PA, they want to, you see, it's as bad as that.
It has become a profession.
Yes, it has become a profession. I've had cause to interview a lot of our younger ones. It means that we are not getting it right. Most of these talks that you are looking at these days, most of them were recruited from the universities.
Yes.
They were no longer the talks that you used to know in the parks. So you can imagine, look at courtism in our university. They recruit them from such places, come and become political. Before you know it, people like that might become governor. Somebody was alleged to have done something wrong sometimes ago. He said, "I will bounce back." I won't be amazed tomorrow if such a person becomes the governor of Osun State, because he has enough to throw around. So these days we need to start asking ourselves questions. Where are you coming from? And also those who did it in the past, have we been able to bring them to book? No.
All right, we'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll be able to, align the challenges or problems we have in Nigeria with how it's done in other climes.